The Crusades were a series of religious military expeditions. These campaigns were primarily undertaken by European Christians. They occurred between the 11th and 13th centuries. The main objective was to recover the Holy Land from Muslim rule. Before the First Crusade, the Byzantine Empire was a prominent Christian state in the East. It faced significant external threats, particularly from the expanding Seljuk Turks. The Seljuk Turks were a formidable Muslim power, exerting pressure on Byzantine borders. This pressure led to territorial losses and a weakening of the empire's defenses. In response, the Byzantine Empire sought military assistance from Western Europe. This plea for aid ultimately contributed to the initiation of the First Crusade. In 1095, Pope Urban II convened the Council of Clermont. During this council, he delivered a powerful speech advocating for a holy war. The Pope promised spiritual rewards to all who participated in this endeavor. This promise of divine favor served as a major incentive for recruitment. His address successfully galvanized widespread European support for the Crusades. The early Crusades were military expeditions launched by European Christians from the late 11th to 13th centuries. These campaigns were primarily aimed at reclaiming territories in the Middle East, particularly the Holy Land. A central and paramount objective of these early Crusades was the capture of the city of Jerusalem. Jerusalem held immense religious significance, considered sacred by three major Abrahamic faiths. It was revered by Christians as the site of Jesus' crucifixion and resurrection. The city was also deeply sacred to Jews and Muslims, making it a focal point of religious and political conflict. The First Crusade began in 1096, marking a significant historical event. It involved a large-scale movement of European forces. The primary destination for these forces was the Levant region. Despite its size, the movement was characterized by disorganization. This crusade initiated a series of religious wars in the Middle Ages. The First Crusade culminated in the siege and capture of Jerusalem in 1099. This event marked a significant military engagement for European forces in the Levant. The Crusaders successfully breached the city's defenses after a prolonged siege. The capture resulted in the establishment of the Latin Kingdom of Jerusalem. However, this victory proved to be temporary in the broader context of the Crusades. The First Crusade marked a significant turning point in the history of the Levant region. Following its conclusion, several new political entities were established in the area. These entities are historically known as the Crusader states. A prominent example among these was the Kingdom of Jerusalem. The formation of these states fundamentally altered the political landscape of the Levant. This period introduced new geopolitical dynamics and cultural interactions in the region. The Crusader states were geographically isolated territories established in the Levant. These states faced continuous military pressure from surrounding Muslim powers. This constant threat necessitated ongoing defense efforts to maintain their existence. They relied heavily on continuous reinforcement and support from Europe. Religious fervor was a primary driver for many crusaders during their campaigns. They believed their participation was a fight sanctioned by God. This conviction provided a powerful spiritual motivation for their actions. Many sought atonement for their sins through these holy wars. Economic incentives served as a significant motivational factor for participation. Promises of land and wealth attracted numerous individuals. New trade opportunities also played a crucial role in drawing participants. These prospects were particularly appealing to younger sons of nobility. The Crusades offered individuals a unique opportunity for social advancement. For many, it provided an escape from the rigid feudal obligations of the era. Participation could lead to increased status and prestige within society. This prospect of gaining status served as a significant social motivator for involvement. The Second Crusade was initiated in 1147, marking a pivotal moment in medieval history. This military campaign was a direct response to a significant geopolitical event in the Crusader states. The primary catalyst was the fall of the county of Edessa to Muslim forces. Edessa was one of the earliest established Crusader states in the Levant. The Second Crusade, launched in the mid-12th century, aimed to reclaim territories lost to Muslim forces. Despite significant European participation, the crusade ultimately failed to achieve its primary objectives. This failure highlighted the growing military strength and strategic unity of Muslim forces in the region. The Crusaders faced internal disunity and logistical challenges, contributing to their lack of success. The outcome had lasting impacts on the political and religious landscape of the Middle East. Saladin emerged as a pivotal Muslim leader, unifying various Islamic factions under his command. His strategic leadership consolidated power across a significant portion of the Middle East. In 1187, Saladin achieved a major military victory by recapturing Jerusalem. This significant event marked a turning point in the Crusades, shifting control of the Holy City. The fall of Jerusalem to Saladin directly triggered the initiation of the Third Crusade by European powers. The Third Crusade, spanning from 1189 to 1192, was a significant military expedition. It was launched by European powers to reclaim the Holy Land from Saladin. This crusade saw the participation of several powerful European monarchs. Richard the Lionheart of England was a prominent leader in this campaign. Philip Augustus, the King of France, also played a key role. Frederick Barbarossa, Emperor of the Holy Roman Empire, was another major participant. The Third Crusade, despite some military successes, ultimately failed to achieve its primary objective. The main goal of the crusade was to retake the city of Jerusalem from Muslim control. The conflict concluded with a negotiated treaty rather than a decisive military victory. This treaty granted Christian pilgrims access to Jerusalem, but the city remained under Muslim rule. The Crusades significantly impacted economic relations between Europe and the Middle East. These military expeditions led to a substantial increase in trade activities. European demand for various Eastern goods grew considerably during this period. This heightened demand stimulated the development of new trade routes and markets. Historically, trade routes connected distant regions, facilitating the exchange of goods and cultures. The Levant, a region in the Eastern Mediterranean, served as a crucial hub for these ancient trade networks. From the Levant, a variety of exotic commodities began to make their way into European markets. These included highly valued spices, which transformed European cuisine and preservation methods. Fine textiles and precious stones also flowed into Europe, signifying wealth and status. Additionally, new agricultural products like sugar and citrus fruits were introduced, diversifying European diets. Italian city-states, including Venice, Genoa, and Pisa, significantly benefited from expanded trade routes. These city-states leveraged their strategic coastal locations to become major commercial hubs. They established extensive and highly profitable commercial networks across the Mediterranean Sea. This trade facilitated the exchange of goods, ideas, and wealth throughout the region. The resulting economic prosperity fueled their growth and influence during this period. European architecture, particularly in military fortifications, underwent significant Eastern influence. This cross-cultural exchange led to the adoption of novel design elements in European castles. Key features like concentric walls, providing multiple layers of defense, were incorporated. Machicolations, defensive structures allowing projectiles to be dropped on attackers, also became prevalent. These Eastern designs enhanced the defensive capabilities and architectural complexity of European strongholds. Artistic styles often exhibit cross-pollination, where diverse cultures influence each other's aesthetics. This exchange leads to the integration of new forms, techniques, and decorative elements. Historically, European art sometimes incorporated motifs from Islamic decorative traditions. These Islamic influences introduced intricate geometric patterns and arabesques into European works. Such integration enriched European artistic expression, fostering new stylistic developments. This demonstrates how cultural interaction can profoundly shape and diversify artistic movements. The Middle East significantly influenced European textile production through new techniques and fabrics. This cultural exchange introduced innovative weaving methods to Europe. Among the new materials, silk became a highly prized and sought-after fabric. Muslin, known for its fine weave and delicate texture, also arrived from the Middle East. These introductions enriched the variety and quality of textiles available in Europe. The adoption of these advancements transformed European textile manufacturing and fashion. European cuisine underwent significant diversification through historical culinary exchanges. A major influence came from the Middle East, introducing new ingredients and cooking methods. These introductions dramatically expanded the flavor profiles and culinary techniques available in Europe. Key contributions included a wide array of spices, previously uncommon in European dishes. The exchange also brought new types of sweets and confectionery to the European palate. This cross-cultural culinary transfer enriched European gastronomy, shaping its future development. European medicine significantly advanced through its interaction with Islamic medical knowledge. Islamic scholars preserved and expanded upon ancient medical texts and practices. Key areas of influence included sophisticated surgical techniques, pharmaceutical practices, meticulously documented in Arabic texts, also played a crucial role. This exchange led to a substantial enrichment and development of medical science in Europe. Arabic scholarship played a crucial role in preserving ancient Greek knowledge. Scholars in the Arab world actively expanded upon this foundational Greek knowledge. Key areas of advancement included mathematics, astronomy, and philosophy. These significant intellectual contributions were subsequently transmitted to Europe. This transmission facilitated a resurgence of learning and intellectual development in Europe. Latin translations of Arabic scientific and philosophical works were pivotal for European intellectual development. These translations introduced advanced knowledge from the Islamic Golden Age to the Western world. This influx of knowledge played a crucial role in stimulating intellectual awakening in Europe. Ultimately, these translated works significantly contributed to the advent and flourishing of the Renaissance. The growth of universities in Europe was significantly propelled by the influx of new knowledge. This intellectual expansion fostered the establishment and development of academic institutions. Cities like Toledo emerged as pivotal centers for knowledge translation and dissemination. These translation hubs played a crucial role in integrating diverse scholarly traditions into European academia. European languages significantly absorbed numerous Arabic words. This linguistic exchange was particularly prominent in fields like trade. Scientific disciplines also saw a substantial integration of Arabic terminology. Additionally, administrative vocabulary was enriched by Arabic contributions. Military technology development has historically been characterized by mutual influence between adversaries. Opposing forces often observed and analyzed each other's weaponry and tactics. This observation led to the adoption of effective new technologies. Sides would adapt captured or observed weapons and siege engines for their own use. This process of adoption and adaptation fueled continuous innovation in military hardware. Such technological exchange significantly shaped the evolution of warfare throughout history. European military organization underwent significant evolution over time. This development was largely influenced by external encounters and conflicts. A key factor in this evolution was interaction with Muslim armies. Muslim forces were renowned for their disciplined military structures. They also employed highly effective and strategically adept tactics in warfare. These encounters prompted Europeans to adapt and refine their own military strategies and organization. Crusader castles in the Levant represent a unique blend of architectural styles. These formidable structures were built during the Crusades, showcasing advanced defensive principles. The design incorporated both Western European and Eastern architectural traditions. Western influences included features like concentric walls and massive keeps. Eastern elements contributed innovations such as machicolations and complex gatehouses. This fusion resulted in highly effective and resilient fortifications. The Crusader states, though often associated with conflict, exhibited complex interfaith dynamics. Despite periods of warfare, instances of pragmatic coexistence between Christians and Muslims were observed. This coexistence extended to various aspects of daily life and governance within these territories. Cooperation between the two groups also occurred, driven by mutual interests or necessity. These interactions highlight a nuanced historical reality beyond simple narratives of perpetual conflict. Diplomatic missions and exchanges of envoys occurred between European and Muslim rulers. These exchanges took place despite ongoing hostilities between the two groups. Such interactions indicate the complex political relationships of the era. They highlight a nuanced history, beyond simple conflict narratives. The Crusades involved prolonged European presence in the Middle East, specifically the Levant region. This extended contact led to significant cultural exchange between Crusaders and local populations. European Crusaders began to adopt aspects of Middle Eastern dress. They also integrated various local customs into their daily lives. Furthermore, some Crusaders learned and utilized the local languages. This cultural adaptation demonstrates the impact of prolonged cross-cultural interaction. The Crusades were a series of religious wars initiated by Latin Christian Europe in the medieval period. These large-scale military expeditions were primarily aimed at recovering the Holy Land from Islamic rule. Initially, the Crusades significantly bolstered the authority and standing of the papacy. Popes assumed a central leading role in the organization and direction of these vast campaigns. This leadership position allowed the papacy to exert greater influence over European monarchs and nobility. Consequently, the early Crusades contributed to an increase in the power and prestige of the papal office. European monarchs sought to consolidate their power during the medieval period. A key strategy involved leading military expeditions known as the Crusades. These religious campaigns aimed to reclaim holy lands and expand influence. While some crusades strengthened monarchical authority, others incurred significant costs. These expeditions often resulted in substantial financial burdens and human losses for kingdoms. The Crusades, a series of religious wars, significantly impacted medieval European society. A key consequence was their contribution to the decline of the feudal system. Serfs, tied to the land, gained opportunities for freedom by participating in the Crusades. Knights, traditionally bound by feudal obligations, could acquire wealth and new status. This mobility and new prosperity challenged the rigid social structures of feudalism. The Crusades thus played a role in altering the established social hierarchy and weakening feudal power. The Crusades were a series of religious wars between Christians and Muslims. These conflicts significantly deepened the religious divide in the medieval world. They exacerbated tensions between Western Christianity and Islam. The Crusades fostered centuries of mutual suspicion and animosity. This historical period left a lasting legacy on interfaith relations. Later Crusades often deviated significantly from their initial religious objectives. The Fourth Crusade serves as a prominent example of this strategic diversion. Instead of targeting the Holy Land, Crusaders diverted their forces towards Constantinople. In 1204, Constantinople, a Christian city, was sacked by the Crusaders. The Byzantine Empire served as a crucial defense against Islamic expansion into Europe. Its strategic position and military strength protected the continent for centuries. However, the Fourth Crusade significantly undermined the empire's power and stability. The Crusaders' attack weakened its defenses and internal structures. This event marked a critical turning point, leading to the Byzantine Empire's eventual decline. The Children's Crusade of 1212 is a historical event, though its traditional narrative is largely apocryphal. This event is often depicted as a movement of children attempting to reclaim the Holy Land. It primarily highlights the intense religious fervor prevalent in medieval Europe. The crusading ideal held significant societal impact during this period. The story, whether factual or legendary, reflects the era's deep spiritual motivations. It underscores the widespread influence of religious movements on the populace, including the young. The Mamluks emerged as a formidable Islamic military caste, gaining significant power and influence. They initiated a concerted effort to reclaim territories held by Crusader strongholds in the Levant. Through strategic campaigns and military prowess, the Mamluks systematically dismantled Crusader presence. By the late 13th century, the Mamluks successfully expelled the last Crusader strongholds from the region. The Siege of Acre in 1291 marked a pivotal moment in medieval history. Acre was the last major Crusader stronghold in the Levant. The Mamluk Sultanate launched a decisive assault on the city. Despite fierce resistance, the city ultimately fell to the Mamluk forces. This event effectively ended the Crusader presence in the Holy Land. The fall of Acre is widely considered the conclusion of the major crusading period. The historical memory of the Crusades continues to shape contemporary international relations. This legacy primarily impacts the relationship dynamics between Western nations and the Middle East. The Crusades, a series of religious wars, occurred between the 11th and 13th centuries. These historical events are frequently referenced in modern political discourse. Such invocations often highlight perceived historical grievances and cultural clashes. Understanding this historical context is crucial for analyzing current geopolitical tensions. The Crusades, despite their conflict, fostered significant cultural exchange between East and West. This interaction had a lasting positive impact on European intellectual development. New knowledge in science, mathematics, and philosophy was introduced to Europe. Material culture also benefited, with new goods, technologies, and agricultural practices. The exchange enriched European society, contributing to its later Renaissance and advancements. The Crusades, a series of religious wars, have been subject to diverse historical interpretations over time. Modern scholarship offers varied perspectives on the motivations and impacts of these medieval conflicts. Some interpretations emphasize the primary role of religious fervor and spiritual objectives. Conversely, other analyses highlight underlying economic factors, such as trade routes and resource control. Political ambitions, including territorial expansion and power consolidation, also feature prominently in scholarly debates. The Crusades were large-scale military expeditions undertaken by European Christians. These extensive endeavors required significant financial resources and logistical support. To fund these operations, European banking and financial systems underwent substantial development. This period spurred innovations in financial practices to manage the vast sums needed for warfare. Naval technology in Europe underwent significant improvements. Shipping capabilities were enhanced to support military operations. These advancements facilitated the transport of armies. Supplies could be moved efficiently across the Mediterranean Sea. European geographic understanding of the Eastern Mediterranean and beyond underwent significant expansion. This growth in knowledge was primarily driven by the experiences of crusaders. Their journeys and campaigns provided new insights into distant lands. Additionally, the travels of merchants played a crucial role in this expansion. Trade routes facilitated the exchange of goods, ideas, and geographical information. The Crusades were a series of religious wars spanning centuries, primarily between European Christians and Muslims in the Middle East. Despite their violent nature, these conflicts fostered significant interaction between the two regions. This interaction led to the establishment of complex and enduring interconnectedness. European societies were exposed to advanced Islamic knowledge in science, medicine, and philosophy. Conversely, Middle Eastern cultures encountered European military tactics and architectural styles. Thus, even profound conflict can serve as a catalyst for extensive cultural diffusion and exchange.